Hey there, welcome back. I'm here to help you relax tonight. Before we slip into the shadows, like and subscribe to uncover more stories like this. Let me know in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it there? It really brings our community together. Now dim the lights for that cozy vibe and stick around till the end. Let's dive into the unknown. I took a job as a night watchman at Hollowbrook Cemetery, and each night of the week, I have to follow a completely different set of rules. I know what you're thinking. Sounds like easy money, right? Watch over a bunch of dead people, make sure nobody vandalizes the headstones, maybe shoo away some teenagers looking for a thrill. That's exactly what I thought when I applied. The pay was absurdly good for what seemed like glorified babysitting. And after the accident, I needed something, anything, to keep me occupied during the hours when sleep refused to come. I should have known better. Nothing that pays that well is ever simple. My name is Nathan Cross, and I'm 24 years old. 6 months ago, I was driving home from a party when I ran a red light. I wasn't drunk. I wish I had that excuse. I was just tired and distracted, scrolling through my phone for half a second. That's all it took. The other car came out of nowhere. By the time I looked up, it was too late. The driver, a woman named Sarah Chen, died on impact. She was a kindergarten teacher. She had a husband and a 6-year-old daughter. I walked away with a concussion and 3 broken ribs. The guilt ate me alive. Still does. I stopped sleeping more than a couple hours a night, stopped going out, stopped doing pretty much anything except replaying those 3 seconds over and over in my head. My therapist said I needed to find purpose again, something to anchor me. When I saw the cemetery posting, something clicked. Maybe being surrounded by the dead would help me come to terms with the death I'd caused. Maybe it would help me forgive myself. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out quite how I'd planned. First night. "You must be Nathan," the old man said as I walked up to the guard shack. He was probably in his 70s with a face like worn leather and eyes that had seen too much. "I'm Vincent. I'll be training you tonight." "Nice to meet you," I said, extending my hand. His grip was surprisingly firm. "You read the job posting carefully?" Vincent asked, his expression grave. "Yeah, overnight security, patrol the grounds, report any disturbances, pretty standard stuff." Vincent let out a long breath through his nose. "Son, there's nothing standard about this place. Come inside, we need to talk." Neat. The guard shack was small but functional. A desk, a couple of monitors showing grainy footage from security cameras, a mini fridge, and an ancient coffee maker that looked like it predated the Cold War. Vincent gestured for me to sit. "Hollowbrook is different," he began, pulling out a binder from the desk drawer. "The cemetery was built in 1847 on land that was used for something else before. Something dark. I won't bore you with the history lesson, but the short version is this. The veil between our world and the next is thin here, very thin, and on certain nights it gets thinner still." I must have looked skeptical because Vincent's expression hardened. "I know how this sounds. Every new hire thinks we're hazing them or testing their guts. But I'm 73 years old, and I don't have time for games. What I'm about to tell you is real, and if you don't follow the rules exactly as written, you will die, or worse." Something in his voice made my skin crawl. There was no theatricality to it, no dramatic pause for effect. He stated it the way you'd tell someone their shoes were untied. "Each night of the week has different rules. Vincent continued, opening the binder. Monday through Sunday. The supernatural entities that manifest here operate on patterned cycles. As long as you follow the instructions, you'll be fine. Mostly. But you deviate even slightly. He trailed off, shaking his head. Why doesn't anyone just shut this place down? I asked. Because the things here need to be contained. If Hollowbrook closes, they don't just disappear, they spread. Trust me, you want them here, where we can manage them. Vincent pulled out 7 laminated sheets, each labeled with a day of the week. He handed me the one that read Friday, in bold letters at the top. Read these carefully. I'll walk you through tonight's patrol, but starting tomorrow, you'll be on your own. Your partner starts Sunday. Partner? Marcus, good kid, little cocky, but his heart's in the right place. You'll meet him soon enough. I looked down at the Friday rules. My hands started shaking before I even finished reading. Friday rules. Rule 1. Begin your patrol at exactly 10:15 p.m. Not earlier, not later. The groundskeeper will be finishing his work until 10:14. Do not encounter him. Rule 2. You will find a white ribbon tied to the gate at the north entrance. Take it with you and keep it in your left pocket at all times. Do not lose it. Rule 3. If you hear a child crying, follow the sound. You will find a small boy sitting by a grave. Place the white ribbon on the headstone, step back 10 paces, and wait until the crying stops. Retrieve the ribbon before continuing your patrol. Rule 4. Between 12 a.m. and 12:07 a.m., you must stand completely still wherever you are. Close your eyes. Do not open them no matter what you hear. Do not speak. Do not move. When 7 minutes have passed, you may continue. Rule 5. A woman in a red dress will approach you at some point during the night. She will ask you for directions to her daughter's grave. Tell her, I'm sorry, but your daughter isn't here. She will leave peacefully. If you give her any other answer, she will realize her daughter is buried here, and you will spend the rest of the night running. Rule 6. Before 2 a.m., return to the guard shack, lock all doors and windows, do not leave until sunrise, do not answer if something knocks, do not respond if you hear voices calling your name. I looked up at Vincent. You're serious about all of this? Dead serious, no pun intended. He stood grabbing a flashlight from the desk. It's 10:10 now. Let's get you that ribbon. The first patrol? The cemetery? At night was different from what I'd expected. I thought it would be scary, in an obvious way. Shadows and silence and the weight of all those bodies beneath the ground. Instead, it felt patient, like something was waiting and had all the time in the world to keep waiting. Vincent moved with practiced efficiency, leading me down the main path toward the north gate. The beam of his flashlight cut through the darkness, illuminating weathered headstones and the occasional plastic flower arrangement. There, he said, pointing. A white ribbon fluttered from the iron gate, tied in a neat bow. It looked absurdly delicate, like something from a little girl's hair. Take it, left pocket, Vincent instructed. I untied the ribbon and stuffed it into my left jacket pocket, feeling ridiculous. This was insane. All of it. Now we patrol, Vincent said. Stay close and stay quiet. We walked the perimeter of the cemetery in silence. I kept waiting for something to jump out, for the punchline to reveal itself, but nothing happened. Just rows of graves and the occasional rustle of wind through the trees. Then I heard it. A child crying. There we go, Vincent muttered. Right on schedule, follow it. The sound came from somewhere in the older section of the cemetery where the headstones were crusted with lichen and the names had been worn almost smooth by time. My heart hammered as we got closer. A small boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old, sat cross-legged in front of a weathered grave marker. He was wearing old-fashioned clothes, shorts with suspenders, a white button-up shirt. He sobbed into his hands, his shoulders shaking. "Go on," Vincent whispered. "Do what the rule says." I pulled the ribbon from my pocket with trembling fingers and approached the grave. The boy didn't look up, didn't acknowledge me at all. Up close, I could see that he wasn't quite solid. The edges of him were blurry, like a photograph taken with an unsteady hand. I placed the ribbon on the headstone. It was cold to the touch, far colder than it should have been. Then I stepped back. 1 pace, 2, 3. I counted to 10, each step taking me farther from the crying child. The sobbing stopped instantly. The boy looked up, and I bit back a gasp. His eyes were hollow, just empty black sockets where eyes should have been. But he smiled, a genuine, relieved smile, and he faded away like morning mist. The ribbon was still on the headstone. I forced myself to walk back and retrieve it, my legs feeling like jelly. "Good," Vincent said when I returned to his side. "You followed the instruction exactly. That's crucial here. These entities, they operate on rules just like we do. Give them what they need in the precise way they need it, and they'll leave you alone." "What? Who was that?" "Thomas Whitmore. Died in 1889. Drowned in the river while his mother was distracted. He's looking for her, always looking. The ribbon helps him remember she's not here, that he needs to rest. Without it, he'd search all night, and his searching would wake other things. Things you don't want to meet." We continued the patrol. Vincent checked his watch obsessively as midnight approached. "Find a spot and stop," he said at 11:58. "Anywhere's fine, just stop moving." I planted my feet on the path between 2 rows of graves. Vincent stood a few feet away, his eyes already closed. "Remember," he said, "no matter what you hear, don't open your eyes. Don't move, don't speak. What's going to happen? You'll see, or rather you won't. Close your eyes, Nathan, now." I closed my eyes just as my watch beeped midnight. For about 30 seconds, nothing happened. Just the normal sounds of night, crickets, the distant hum of traffic from the highway, my own breathing. Then I heard the footsteps. Heavy boots on gravel, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. They came from every direction at once, surrounding me. The footsteps were accompanied by other sounds. Whispered conversations I couldn't quite make out. The jingle of metal, the creak of leather. Something walked right past me, close enough that I felt the displacement of air. A smell hit me, earth and rot, and something spicy like old incense. "Don't open your eyes. Don't open your eyes." More footsteps. Something brushed against my shoulder. Fabric, maybe a coat. A woman's laugh, high and delighted, rang out somewhere to my left. The sound of it made my skin crawl. "Fresh meat," a voice whispered directly into my right ear. Every muscle in my body locked up. The voice was wet, like someone speaking through a mouthful of mud. "Can you hear me, fresh meat? I bet you can. I bet you're screaming inside that pretty head of yours. Don't respond. Don't move. Open your eyes. Just a peek. I want you to see what's standing in front of you." I felt breath on my face, cold and rank. My watch beeped. 12:07 a.m. The sounds cut off like someone had flipped a switch. Total silence. "You can open your eyes now," Vincent said calmly. I opened them slowly, half expecting to find myself surrounded by monsters. But the cemetery looked exactly as it had before. Empty paths, silent graves. Nothing. What the hell was that? My voice came out as a rasp. The procession. Every midnight for 7 minutes, the dead walk freely. Not all of them, just the ones who died violently or with unfinished business. They can't hurt you if you don't acknowledge them. The moment you open your eyes, the moment you speak or move, you give them permission to interact with you. And trust me, you don't want that. That voice. It knew I could hear it. They always know. They try to trick you, scare you into breaking the rules. You did well. We finished the patrol without further incident. The woman in the red dress never appeared, which Vincent said was normal. She didn't show up every Friday, just sometimes. At 1:50 a.m., we returned to the guard shack. Vincent locked the door and closed all the shutters on the windows. Now we gotta wait for sunrise, he said, settling into the desk chair. You can sleep if you want. I'll keep watch. I don't think I can sleep after that. Vincent chuckled. You'll get used to it, eventually. We sat in silence for a while. I kept replaying everything I'd seen, trying to make sense of it, trying to fit it into my understanding of how the world worked. Why do you do this? I finally asked. You could retire. You don't need this job. Vincent was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. 30 years ago, my daughter was killed by a drunk driver. She was 19. The man who hit her got 6 months in jail and a suspended license. He was back on the road within a year. He paused. I couldn't live with that, the injustice of it. So I started looking for other forms of justice. That's how I found this place. It gives me purpose. Makes me feel like I'm keeping other people safe, even if I couldn't save her. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. I thought about Sarah Chen, about her daughter growing up without a mother. I killed someone, I heard myself say, 6 months ago. Car accident. It was my fault. Vincent looked at me, really looked at me, and nodded slowly. I figured it was something like that. You've got that look. The guilt. It's why you took this job, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know what I thought. That being here would help somehow. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'll tell you this, the dead here, they don't judge. They just are. And sometimes that's easier to deal with than the living. We didn't talk much after that. At 6:15 a.m., the first rays of sunlight crept through the gaps in the shutters. Your shift is over, Vincent said. Tomorrow you're on your own. Saturday's rules are in the binder. Read them carefully, get some rest. I left the cemetery as the morning shift groundskeeper arrived. He nodded at me as we passed. A normal guy doing a normal job at a very abnormal place. I went home, pulled out the Saturday rules, and started reading. I didn't sleep at all. Second night. Saturday. Saturday rules. Rule 1. Saturday is the busiest night. Bring coffee and be prepared to move quickly. Rule 2. At exactly 9 p.m., walk to the old mausoleum on the eastern hill. Knock 3 times on the door. Wait for a knock in response. When you hear it say, "The debt is remembered," leave immediately without looking back. Rule 3. A pack of 6 dogs will roam the cemetery starting at 10:30 p.m. They are not living dogs. Do not pet them. Do not feed them. If they approach you, stand perfectly still and recite the Lord's Prayer. They will lose interest and move on. Rule 4. You will encounter a man digging a grave. His name is Samuel. Do not ask him who the grave is for. Do not look into the hole. If he speaks to you, respond politely, but keep moving. Rule 5. Between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., check the cemetery's small chapel. If the lights are on inside, enter and extinguish all candles you find. If the lights are off, do not enter under any circumstances. Rule 6. The woman in the red dress is more likely to appear on Saturday. Remember, I'm sorry, but your daughter isn't here. Nothing else. Rule 7. If you see someone who looks exactly like you, turn around and walk away. Do not engage. Do not investigate. It will try to follow you. Keep walking until you can no longer hear its footsteps behind you. Rule 8. You must complete a full circuit of the cemetery 3 times before 3 a.m. No more, no less. Mark each completion in the logbook at the guard shack. I arrived at 8:45 p.m., my nerves already frayed. I'd spent the day researching Hollowbrook Cemetery, trying to find some rational explanation for what I'd experienced. The internet had plenty of ghost stories and urban legends, but nothing concrete, nothing that explained any of it. The guard shack was empty when I arrived. I found the logbook on the desk and flipped through it. Vincent's entries were terse. Friday, 10:15 p.m., 6:15 a.m., all rules followed. No incidents. I started my own entry, dating it Saturday, then checked the clock. 8:55 p.m., time for the mausoleum. The Eastern Hill was the oldest part of Hollowbrook. The graves here dated back to the cemetery's founding, and the mausoleum stood at the summit like a small stone fortress. It belonged to the Ashford family according to the tarnished plaque on the door. I climbed the hill as the last light faded from the sky. By the time I reached the mausoleum, it was full dark. The stone door was imposing up close, easily 8 feet tall and carved with elaborate scrollwork. I raised my hand and knocked 3 times. The sound echoed hollowly. I waited, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. 30 seconds passed. A minute. Then, from inside the mausoleum, 3 knocks answered, and my mouth went dry. I forced myself to speak. The dead is remembered. Silence. I turned and walked down the hill, fighting every instinct that screamed at me to run. Don't look back. Don't look back. But I couldn't help myself. At the bottom of the hill, I glanced over my shoulder. The mausoleum door was open. Something stood in the doorway, a dark shape that my eyes couldn't quite focus on. It watched me for a long moment, then stepped back inside. The door swung shut with a boom that I felt in my chest. I made it back to the guard shack and promptly threw up in the trash can. Get it together, I muttered to myself. This is fine, this is totally fine. Just dead people and supernatural entities and probably a complete psychotic break. Totally fine. At 10:30 p.m. exactly, I heard the barking. 6 dogs emerged from the tree line at the cemetery's western edge. Even from a distance, I could tell something was wrong with them. They moved in perfect synchronization, like one mind controlling 6 bodies. Their eyes reflected the moonlight, glowing an unnatural green. They spotted me and changed direction, loping across the graves with unsettling speed. I stood perfectly still as they surrounded me. Up close, they looked almost normal, German shepherds maybe, or some kind of mix. But their smell gave them away. They stank of formaldehyde and something else, something chemical and wrong. The largest one stepped forward, sniffing at my leg. Its nose was cold and wet against my jeans. Very slowly, I opened my mouth and began to recite, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." The dog's ears perked up. "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." One of them whined, a disturbingly human sound. "Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses." The lead dog stepped back, shaking its head, like it was trying to dislodge something from its ears. "As we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation." but deliver us from evil." The dogs turned and ran, disappearing back into the trees as quickly as they had appeared. I let out a shaky breath. 2 encounters down. God knows how many more to go. The patrol took me through the newer section of the cemetery where the headstones were cleaner and the graves more recent. That's where I found Samuel. He was a big man, broad-shouldered and thick-armed, wearing overalls and a plain white t-shirt. His shovel bit into the earth with mechanical precision, tossing dirt into a growing pile. The hole was already waist-deep. "Evening," I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Samuel paused and looked up. His face was weathered but kind, with smile lines around his eyes. "Evening yourself? Fine night for a walk. I'm Nathan, the new night watchman." "Pleased to meet you, Nathan. I'm Samuel." He went back to digging. I desperately wanted to ask why he was digging a grave in the middle of the night, wanted to know whose name would end up on the headstone, but the rules had been clear. "Well, have a good night," I said, already moving away. "You too, son. Watch yourself out here. Lots of strange things in the dark." I glanced back, once I was a safe distance away. Samuel was still digging, the rhythmic sound of his shovel a steady beat in the quiet night. I checked my watch. 12:45 a.m. Time to check the chapel. The chapel was a small building near the cemetery's main entrance, barely large enough for 20 people. It was used for brief services before burials, or so the brochure had said. As I approached, my stomach sank. Light poured from the chapel's windows. "Of course," I muttered. "Why would anything be easy?" I pushed open the door. The interior was simple. Wooden pews, a small altar, and dozens of candles. They burned on every available surface, their flames dancing in some unfelt breeze. The air was thick with the smell of wax and smoke. I moved down the aisle, extinguishing candles as I went. Pinch the wick, move to the next one, repeat. It should have been meditative, almost calming. Then I noticed the whispers. They came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Soft voices speaking in a language I didn't recognize. The temperature dropped with each candle I snuffed out, my breath misting in the air. The last candle was on the altar. As I reached for it, the whispers rose to a crescendo, angry, urgent, pleading. My hand shook. I pinched out the flame. The whispers stopped. The temperature normalized. The chapel was just a chapel again, dark and empty and blessedly ordinary. I got out of there as fast as I could. The rest of the night passed in a blur of patrol routes and mounting exhaustion. The woman in the red dress never appeared, and I didn't encounter my doppelganger, both of which I counted as wins. By 2:45 a.m., I'd completed 3 full circuits of the cemetery and logged each one. At 3 a.m. exactly, I locked myself at the guard shack and waited for sunrise. I made it. 2 nights down, 5 to go. Meeting Marcus. Sunday afternoon, I returned to the cemetery to meet my new partner. Marcus was already there, leaning against the guard shack and scrolling through his phone. He was younger than me, maybe 21 or 22, with dark skin and a fade haircut. He looked up as I approached and grinned. "You must be Nathan. I'm Marcus. Vincent said you survived your first 2 nights, so either you're good at following directions, or you're extremely lucky." "Bit of both, probably," I said, shaking his hand. "You know what you're getting into here?" Vincent gave me the whole speech. Dead people, supernatural entities, follow the rules or die. Honestly, it sounds kind of badass, plus the pay is insane. I studied him, trying to figure out if he was putting on a brave face or if he genuinely didn't grasp the danger. It's not badass, Marcus. It's terrifying. I've seen things this weekend that I can't explain, that I'll probably see in my nightmares for the rest of my life. His grin faded slightly. Yeah, okay. I get it. It's serious. But come on. How bad can it really be? Vincent's been doing this for years, and he's fine. Vincent's a veteran. We're not. Just promise me you'll follow the rules exactly as written, okay? No improvising, no testing boundaries. These things aren't metaphors or urban legends. They're real. I promise, man. Scout's honor. We checked the Sunday rules together. Sunday rules. Rule 1. Sunday patrol begins at 10 p.m. sharp. You must patrol in pairs, never split up. Rule 2. You will find a music box on the bench near the fountain. Wind it up and let it play completely. The melody keeps certain spirits calm. Rule 3. A funeral procession will enter the cemetery gates at 11 p.m. Let them pass. Do not join them. Do not try to see the faces of the mourners. Above all, do not count how many people are in the procession. Rule 4. The dogs may appear again. Same procedure as Saturday. Rule 5. At midnight, you will hear church bells. They are not coming from the chapel. Do not go looking for the source. Rule 6. The woman in the red dress is most likely to appear on Sunday. Be prepared with your response. Rule 7. If you see children playing among the graves, do not approach them. They died of plague in 1886, and they're still contagious. Stay at least 50 feet away. Rule 8. Return to the guard shack by 2:30 a.m. Bar the door and windows. The groundskeeper begins his night work at 2:31 a.m. You do not want to meet him. Wait, Marcus said, reading the last rule. I thought the groundskeeper worked during the day. Different groundskeeper, I said, remembering Vincent's warning from Friday. There's the normal one, and then there's whatever this is. That's not ominous at all. At 10 p.m., we began our patrol. The night was warmer than the previous ones, with a slight breeze that rustled through the trees. Marcus kept up a steady stream of nervous chatter, and I led him. It was better than silence. We found the music box right where the rules said it would be. A small bronze thing sitting on a stone bench near the cemetery's central fountain. I picked it up carefully and turned the key on its bottom. The melody that played was haunting, a slow waltz that seemed far too sad for such a small instrument. We stood there listening as it wound down note by note. When the last chime faded, the air felt different, lighter somehow. That was beautiful, Marcus said softly. Yeah, come on, we need to be near the gates by 11. We positioned ourselves off the main path, partially hidden behind a large monument. At exactly 11 p.m., the cemetery gates swung open. The funeral procession entered in absolute silence. Pallbearers carried a black coffin, their faces hidden beneath wide-brimmed hats. Behind them walked the mourners, men in dark suits, women in black dresses and veils. None of them made a sound. No sobbing, no whispered prayers, nothing. Just the soft scrape of shoes on gravel. I grabbed Marcus's arm as I felt him lean forward, curiosity getting the better of him. Don't look at their faces, I whispered. Don't count them. Why not? Because the rules say so. The procession moved deeper into the cemetery, heading toward the old section. I kept my eyes fixed on the ground, watching their feet pass by. Black shoes, all of them, perfectly polished and moving in lockstep. It felt like hours, but it was probably only 10 minutes before the last of them disappeared into the darkness. That was the creepiest thing I've ever seen, Marcus said once they were gone. Welcome to Hollowbrook. At midnight, the bells rang. Deep, sonorous tones that seemed to come from underground. They rang 12 times, each one vibrating in my chest. Marcus and I looked at each other but didn't say a word. When the bells stopped, we continued our patrol. We encountered the dogs at 12:30 a.m. Marcus froze when he saw them, his eyes going wide. "Nathan, stay still, follow my lead." I started the Lord's Prayer and Marcus stumbled through it along with me. The dogs circled us, sniffing and growling, but eventually they lost interest and moved on. "Holy shit," Marcus breathed. "Those weren't normal dogs." Nothing here is normal. The sooner you accept that, the better. At 1:15 a.m., we spotted the children. There were 5 of them, maybe 6, ranging in age from toddlers to preteens. They played a game that looked like tag, weaving between the headstones and laughing. Their clothes were old-fashioned, tattered, and stained. In the moonlight, their skin had a grayish tint. "Should we?" Marcus started. "No, stay back. 50 feet minimum." We gave them a wide berth, circling around to avoid them. As we passed, one of the children, a little girl with pigtails, stopped playing and looked directly at us. She smiled and waved. I didn't wave back. At 2 a.m., the woman in the red dress appeared. She emerged from behind a large oak tree, her dress bright as blood against the darkness. She was beautiful in a severe way, with sharp cheekbones and dark eyes. She walked toward us with purpose, her heels clicking on the path. "Excuse me," she called out. "Excuse me, I'm looking for my daughter's grave. Can you help me?" My heart hammered. I could feel Marcus tense beside me, unsure what to do. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice steady despite my fear, "but your daughter isn't here." The woman stopped. She tilted her head, studying me. "Are you certain? Her name is Elizabeth? Elizabeth Thornton? She would have been buried here in 1952. "I'm sorry, but your daughter isn't here," I repeated, word for word. The woman's expression flickered. Confusion, then something like relief. "Oh, I must have the wrong cemetery, thank you." She turned and walked back the way she'd come, her red dress fading into shadow until she was gone. Marcus let out a breath he'd been holding. "What would have happened if you'd said something different?" "Vincent said we'd spend the rest of the night running. I didn't want to find out what that meant." We made it back to the guard shack at 2:28 a.m. I locked the door, closed the shutters, and we settled in to wait. "So what's the deal with this groundskeeper?" Marcus asked. "I don't know. Vincent warned me not to encounter him, and the rules say the same. I'm not eager to find out why." At 2:31 a.m. exactly, we heard footsteps outside. They were heavy, deliberate, accompanied by the sound of metal dragging across stone. The footsteps circled the guard shack slowly, and I caught a glimpse of a shadow through a gap in the shutters, something huge and misshapen. The doorknob rattled. Once, twice, testing to see if it was locked. Marcus and I sat frozen, barely breathing. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps moved away, fading into the distance. We didn't relax until sunrise came, and we heard normal sounds. Birds chirping, cars on the distant road, life returning to the world. 4 nights down, Marcus said as we packed up to leave. 3 to go. "Yeah," I said, "the easy ones are behind us." Monday, Marcus and I arrived together on Monday night, both of us running on caffeine and adrenaline. I'd barely slept during the day, my mind replaying the funeral procession and the thing that had tested our door. The Monday rules were waiting on the desk. Monday rules. Rule 1. Begin patrol at 10:15 p.m. Carry a flashlight with fresh batteries and the red emergency flare from the supply cabinet. Rule 2. A woman will be kneeling at her husband's grave, crying. Her name is Margaret. Sit with her for exactly 5 minutes. Do not speak unless she speaks first. After 5 minutes, stand up and continue your patrol. Do not look back at her as you leave. Rule 3. The mausoleum door will be open. Light the red flare and place it at the threshold. Close the door and walk away. The flare will burn out when it's safe. Rule 4. 3 mirrors have been placed throughout the cemetery. You will find them standing upright against headstones. Do not look into them. Break each mirror with a rock or heavy object. Clean up the glass and dispose of it in the guard shack dumpster. Rule 5. At 1 a.m., all lights in the cemetery will go out. Street lamps, your flashlight, everything. You will be in complete darkness for 15 minutes. Stay where you are. Do not move. When the lights return, you may continue. Rule 6. Samuel will be digging again. Same rules as Saturday. Rule 7. The children may be present. Maintain your distance. Rule 8. Before returning to the guard shack, visit the grave of Sarah Chen in the news section, row 14, plot 23. Place a white stone on her headstone. This is not optional. My blood ran cold when I read the last rule. Nathan, Marcus said, noticing my expression. You okay? I couldn't speak. Sarah Chen, the woman I'd killed. She was buried here at Hollowbrook, and I'd never known. I'd never checked. Never tried to find out where she'd been laid to rest. The guilt crashed over me in a wave. Nathan, I'm fine, I managed. Let's just get this over with. We found Margaret exactly where the rules said she'd be, kneeling before a headstone that read James Morton, beloved husband, 1943, 2021. She was middle-aged, with graying hair pulled back in a ponytail. Her shoulders shook with sobs. Marcus and I exchanged a glance, then walked over and sat down on the grass beside her, one on each side. She didn't acknowledge us at first, just kept crying. I checked my watch. 5 minutes. I could do this. After about 3 minutes, Margaret spoke. I miss him so much. Her voice was raw. It's been 2 years, and it doesn't get easier. Everyone says time heals, but that's a lie. Every day I wake up and reach for him, and every day I remember he's gone. I didn't know what to say. The rules said not to speak unless she spoke first, but they didn't say I couldn't respond. I'm sorry for your loss, I said quietly. They were married for 43 years, she continued as if I hadn't spoken. 43 years. And then one day his heart just stopped. No warning, no chance to say goodbye. He was here and then he wasn't. Tears pricked at my eyes. I thought about Sarah Chen's husband, about their daughter. Had they gotten to say goodbye? Or had Sarah just left for work one morning and never come home, leaving nothing behind but grief and unanswered questions? My watch beeped. 5 minutes. Marcus and I stood up. Margaret was still crying, still talking to the headstone, like her husband could hear her. I wanted to stay, wanted to offer comfort, but the rules were clear. We walked away, and I forced myself not to look back. The mausoleum door was hanging open when we reached it, a dark void leading into deeper darkness. I lit the red emergency flare, the phosphorus igniting with a sharp hiss. Bright red light flooded the hillside. I approached the threshold and set the flare down, its light spilling into the mausoleum. For just a second, I thought I saw figures inside, shapes that moved and writhed. But then Marcus pulled the door shut and the vision was gone. Don't look, he said. The rules say to walk away. Yeah, good call. We found the first mirror 10 minutes later, propped against a cherub statue. It was oval-shaped, with an ornate bronze frame. Even from several feet away, I could see that its reflection was wrong. The glass showed the cemetery, but it was daylight in the reflection, and the graves were different. Older. More of them. "I'll do this one," Marcus said, picking up a rock. He approached from the side, careful not to catch his own reflection, and smashed the mirror with one solid swing. Glass exploded outward, tinkling across the grass. We gathered the larger pieces and wrapped them in a plastic bag from Marcus's backpack. The second mirror was easier to find but harder to break. It was massive, easily 6 feet tall, standing in the center of a small clearing. This one's reflection showed the cemetery at night, but it was filled with people, hundreds of them, standing motionless and staring outward, staring at us. "I really don't like this," Marcus muttered. "You and me both." He threw the rock hard and the mirror shattered. The figures in the reflection scattered like cockroaches when you turn on a light, fleeing into the darkness before the glass hit the ground. We found the third mirror just before 1 a.m. It was the smallest of the three, barely bigger than a hand mirror, but its reflection was the worst. It showed only darkness. Not the cemetery at night, but absolute emptiness. Looking near it made my head hurt and my stomach churn. Marcus broke it quickly, and we cleaned up the glass in silence. At exactly 1 a.m., the lights went out. It happened all at once, the street lamps flickering and dying, our flashlights cutting out. Even the ambient glow from the distant city disappearing. We were plunged into total absolute darkness. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Couldn't see Marcus, even though he was standing right beside me. It was like being blind, like the world had simply ceased to exist. "Nathan!" Marcus's voice came from my left, scared. "I'm here. Don't move. The rules say to stay still." "I don't like this. I really don't like this." "I know. Just breathe. 15 minutes. Time moved strangely in the dark, without visual reference, without being able to check my watch. Seconds felt like minutes and minutes like hours. I focused on my breathing, on the feeling of solid ground beneath my feet, on Marcus's occasional small noises that told me I wasn't alone. Then I heard something else. Footsteps. Lots of them. The procession, I realized, though it was Monday night, not midnight on Sunday. They walked past us, around us, their footsteps rustling through the grass and crunching on gravel. I heard breathing, heard the whisper of fabric, heard things I couldn't identify and didn't want to. Something touched my shoulder. Just a light brush, like someone testing to see if I was real. I didn't move, didn't react, just kept breathing. The 15 minutes stretched on forever. When the lights finally flickered back on, I nearly collapsed with relief. Marcus looked pale, his eyes wide and unfocused. "You okay?" I asked. "No, but I will be. Let's keep moving." We found Samuel digging again, this time in a different section of the cemetery. We exchanged brief pleasantries and moved on, neither of us wanting to linger. The children were playing near the old section. We avoided them by a wide margin. Finally, inevitably, it was time for the last rule. Row 14, plot 23. Marcus read from the rule sheet. "Who's Sarah Chen?" I took a deep breath. "The woman I killed. Car accident 6 months ago. My fault." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "Shit, man, I'm sorry." "Yeah, me too." We found the grave easily. The headstone was simple granite with her name, her dates, and a single line. Beloved wife and mother. Someone had left fresh flowers in a vase. Probably her family, still visiting, still grieving. I knelt down and pulled a white stone from my pocket. I'd grabbed it from the cemetery path on the way over, knowing I'd need it. "I'm sorry," I whispered, placing the stone on top of the headstone. "I'm so sorry, Sarah. I think about you every day, about your family, about the life you should have had. I can't take it back. I can't fix it, but I'm sorry." The stone seemed to glow for just a moment in the moonlight, then settled into looking like an ordinary rock. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder. "Come on, let's head back." We made it to the guard shack at 2:45 a.m., logged our completion, and waited for sunrise. Neither of us said much. There wasn't much to say. Tuesday. The Tuesday rules were intense. 6 separate encounters, 3 new entities, and explicit warnings that this was one of the most dangerous nights of the week. Marcus and I reviewed them a dozen times, committing every word to memory. Tuesday rules. Rule 1. Begin patrol at 10 p.m. Bring salt. Regular table salt will work, but sea salt is better. Rule 2. When you encounter the weeping angel statue that has moved from its pedestal, you'll know which one. Circle it 3 times clockwise while pouring an unbroken line of salt around it. Do not let the line break. Do not touch the statue. Rule 3. A man in a soldier's uniform will ask you for a cigarette. Give him one from the pack in the drawer labeled Tuesday. Do not smoke with him. Do not ask about the war. Rule 4. The chapel will have a visitor. You will know them by the sound of hymns sung in Latin. Leave a cup of water on the altar and exit immediately. Rule 5. At exactly 11:47 p.m., you will hear a phone ringing. Follow the sound. You will find an old rotary phone sitting on a grave. Answer it. Listen to what it says. Do not respond. Hang up after the message ends. Rule 6. A thick fog will roll in around 1 a.m. Stay on the paved paths. If you step onto grass, you will not find your way back. Rule 7. The woman in the red dress will not appear on Tuesdays. If you see her anyway, run. That is not her. Rule 8. Samuel will not be digging on Tuesdays. If you see him anyway, run. That is not him. Rule 9. Before returning to the guard shack, you must visit the grave of Thomas Whitmore, the crying boy from Friday. Thank him for his patience. This is not optional. I grabbed the salt and the cigarettes while Marcus did a final equipment check. We were both on edge, the atmosphere in the guard shack tense. 9 rules, Marcus said. That's the most yet. Yeah. And did you notice rules 7 and 8? If we see familiar entities on the wrong night, they're not what they appear to be. So something is out there that can mimic them? Apparently. We started the patrol right at 10 p.m. The cemetery felt different tonight, more oppressive, like the air itself was heavier. My instincts screamed at me to turn around, to leave, to not go through with this, but I needed the money, and more than that, I needed to see this through. I'd committed to this job, to this week, and I wasn't going to quit. We found the moved statue near the fountain, a weeping angel that should have been on a pedestal 40 feet away, now standing in the middle of the path. Its head was bowed, its wings spread, and its hands covered its eyes. Classical and beautiful and utterly terrifying. How did it move? Marcus whispered. Don't know, don't want to know. You ready? He nodded, pulling out the container of sea salt we'd brought. I walked up to the statue, starting from its left side, and began to circle clockwise. Marcus poured the salt, creating a thin white line on the ground. 1 circle. The statue didn't move. 2 circles. Still nothing. 3 circles, and we were back where we started, the salt line complete. The statue shuddered. We both jumped back, but it didn't come to life or attack. It just sighed, a sound like wind through stone. Then it went completely still again. Did we just trap it? Marcus asked. Or protect it, or contain it. Who the hell knows? We found the soldier at 10:43 p.m. He was sitting on a bench, his head in his hands, wearing a World War II-era army uniform. He looked up as we approached, and I was struck by how young he was. Maybe 19, barely older than Marcus. "Hey," he said, his voice tired. "Either of you got a smoke?" I pulled out the pack from my pocket and handed him a cigarette. He took it with a grateful nod and produced a lighter from his jacket. The flame illuminated his face for a moment, and I saw the exhaustion there, the 1,000-yard stare that came from seeing too much. "Thanks," he said, taking a long drag. "You fellows want to join me?" "No, thank you," I said, following the rules. "We need to keep moving." He nodded, seeming unsurprised. Sure, you stay safe out here. It's dangerous at night." We left him there, smoking in the darkness. When I glanced back, he was gone. The chapel visit was brief and unsettling. We heard the Latin hymns from 50 feet away, a single voice, male, singing with perfect clarity. We entered, left the cup of water as instructed, and got out as quickly as possible. The singing never stopped, never acknowledged our presence. At 11:47 p.m., I heard the phone ringing. It was an old-fashioned sound, mechanical and insistent. We followed it to a grave near the back of the cemetery. Sure enough, a rotary phone sat on top of the headstone, its receiver bouncing with each ring. I picked it up and held it to my ear. Static at first, then a voice, female, distant, like it was calling from very far away. "The debt comes due on Thursday. The debt comes due on Thursday. 7 must be paid. 7 must be paid. The debt comes due." The message cut off. I hung up the phone, my hands shaking. "What did it say?" Marcus asked. "Something about Thursday, about a debt and the number 7. That doesn't sound good." "No, it doesn't." The fog rolled in at 1 a.m., thick and impenetrable. Within seconds, visibility dropped to maybe 10 feet. Marcus and I stuck to the paved paths, placing our feet carefully with each step. The fog seemed to reach for us, tendrils of mist curling around our legs. At one point, Marcus's foot slipped off the path onto the grass. He immediately stumbled, his eyes going unfocused. "Marcus?" I grabbed his jacket and pulled him back onto the pavement. He blinked, shaking his head. "What?" I was somewhere else. Somewhere cold. There were people, but they weren't right. "Stay on the path. Eyes down, watch your feet." We made it through the fog without further incident, and it cleared at exactly 2 a.m., as if someone had flipped a switch. No woman in red, no Samuel digging. We'd gotten lucky, or the entities were following their own rules tonight. At 2:30 a.m., we visited Thomas Whitmore's grave, the same headstone where I'd left the ribbon on Friday. "Thank you for your patience," I said, feeling ridiculous but following the rule anyway. "Thank you for waiting." A small cold hand touched mine for just a second. I looked down, but there was nothing there, just the feeling of a child's hand, trusting and grateful, then gone. We returned to the guard shack and locked ourselves in. 2 more nights, Marcus said. "Wednesday and Thursday, we can do this." "Yeah," I said, thinking about the phone message. We can do this." But I didn't believe it. Wednesday, I barely slept. Tuesday. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that voice on the phone. "The debt comes due on Thursday." What debt? Whose debt? And what did 7 must be paid mean? When I arrived Wednesday evening, Marcus was already there, looking as rough as I felt. We pulled out the Wednesday rules in silence. Wednesday rules. Rule 1. Wednesday is a night of reflection. Begin patrol at 10 p.m. Walk slowly and observe. Rule 2. You will encounter 7 graves marked with red ribbons. At each grave, kneel and say, "I witness your passing. I honor your memory." Do not skip any of them. Rule 3. The mausoleum will be sealed. Do not attempt to open it. Do not knock. Something inside is changing, and it must not be disturbed. Rule 4. Between 11 p.m. and midnight, you may encounter other living people in the cemetery. They are not supposed to be here. Do not speak to them. Do not acknowledge them. They cannot see you unless you make yourself known. Rule 5. At midnight, visit the grave of James Morton, Margaret's husband. Margaret will not be there, but you will find something she left behind. Take it with you and keep it safe until Thursday. Rule 6. The procession will pass through at 12:30 a.m. Same rules as before. Do not look at faces, do not count them. Let them pass. Rule 7. You will hear a woman screaming. Do not investigate. Do not try to help. It is a memory, not a present event, and you cannot change what has already happened. Rule 8. The dogs will appear. You know what to do. Rule 9. Before returning to the guard shack, visit Sarah Chen's grave again. Something will be waiting for you there. My stomach twisted at Rule 9. Something waiting for me at Sarah's grave. I didn't know if I could handle that. You okay? Marcus asked, noticing my expression again. Rule 9, I don't know what it means. Whatever it is, we'll deal with it together, okay? I nodded, grateful for his presence. Despite his initial cockiness, Marcus had proven himself to be a solid partner. He followed rules, kept his head in crisis, and didn't ask questions when it mattered. We started the patrol at 10 p.m. sharp. The cemetery was quieter than usual, no distant traffic sounds, no wind, just heavy silence. It felt like the world was holding its breath. The first grave with a red ribbon was near the entrance. The headstone read, Catherine Walsh, 1967, 2023. I knelt on the damp grass and spoke the words. I witness your passing. I honor your memory. A warmth spread through me, brief but comforting, like someone had placed a hand on my shoulder in gratitude. The second grave, Robert Huang, 1945-2022. The third, Melissa Torres, 1989-2021. The fourth, David Brennan, 1952-2023. At each one, I knelt and spoke the words. Each time I felt that warmth, that acknowledgement. These people wanted to be remembered, needed someone to bear witness to their existence. The fifth grave, Joshua Price, 2001-2023. The sixth, Emma Richardson, 1978-2022. The seventh grave made me stop cold. Sarah Chen, 1987-2024. Oh God, I whispered. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder. You don't have to. No, I do. I knelt before Sarah's headstone, my throat tight. I witness your passing. I honor your memory. The warmth that came this time was different, stronger. It wrapped around me like an embrace. And for just a moment, I swear I felt forgiveness. Not absolution, I didn't deserve that, but understanding. Acknowledgement that I was sorry, that I carried the weight of what I'd done. Tears streamed down my face. I'm sorry, I whispered again. I'm so sorry. Marcus helped me to my feet. We continued the patrol without speaking. At 10:47 p.m., we encountered the living people. There were 3 of them, teenagers by the look of it, probably 16 or 17. They carried flashlights and had backpacks slung over their shoulders. One of them, a girl with bright blue hair, was filming with her phone. This is so cool, she said to her friends. My followers are going to freak out when they see this. exploring a haunted cemetery at night. They walked right past us, right past. The girl's shoulder nearly brushed mine. But she didn't react, didn't see us at all. Ghost hunters, Marcus muttered once they were out of earshot. Probably got in through the broken fence on the west side. Should we call it in? The rules say not to acknowledge them. They can't see us unless we make ourselves known. Let's just let them do their thing. They'll get scared and leave soon enough. He was right. 20 minutes later, we heard screaming and saw the 3 teenagers sprinting for the exit. Their ghost hunting expedition cut short by God knows what they'd encountered. At midnight, we visited James Morton's grave. Margaret wasn't there, but something else was. A small leather journal placed carefully atop the headstone. I picked it up and opened to the first page. To whoever finds this, my name is Margaret Morton. My husband James was the love of my life. We had 43 beautiful years together before his heart gave out. I come here every week to talk to him, to remember him, to make sure he's not forgotten. I don't know if he can hear me, but I choose to believe he can. If you're reading this, please keep this journal safe. Add your own stories to it. Let this be a testament that love survives death, that memory matters, that we are more than the dates on our headstones. Thank you. I closed the journal carefully and tucked it into my jacket. We'll keep it safe, I promised the empty air. The procession came at 12:30 a.m., just as the rules predicted. Marcus and I stood off the path and let them pass, eyes downcast, counting seconds instead of mourners. When they were gone, the cemetery felt emptier somehow, like they'd taken something with them. At 1:15 a.m., we heard the screaming. It was a woman's voice, raw and terrified, coming from somewhere in the old section. Every instinct I had screamed at me to run toward it, to help, to do something. It's a memory, Marcus said, grabbing my arm as I started forward. The rules said it's a memory. We can't help. But, Nathan, we can't help. The screaming went on for 3 minutes, then cut off abruptly. The silence that followed was worse than the sound. The dogs appeared at 1:45 a.m. We recited the Lord's Prayer and they left us alone. At 2:15 a.m., it was time for Rule 9. We approached Sarah Chen's grave slowly. The fresh flowers from Monday were still there, but now there was something else. A small envelope, propped against the base of the headstone. My name was written on the front in elegant cursive, Nathan Cross. With shaking hands, I opened it and pulled out a letter. Dear Nathan, you don't know me, but I'm Sarah's sister Diane. I've been coming to visit her grave every week since she died. This Monday, I saw you here. I saw you place the white stone. I saw you crying, apologizing. I did some research. I found the police report, the news articles. I know who you are. I know what happened. I want you to know that I don't forgive you. I can't. Sarah was my best friend as well as my sister. My niece Emily asks about her every day. My brother-in-law is drowning in grief. You took something precious from us, and no amount of apology can give it back. But I also want you to know that I don't hate you. I've been carrying so much anger for 6 months, and it's poisonous. It's eating me alive. Seeing you at her grave, seeing how much you're hurting, it didn't make it better, but it made it real. You're a person, not a monster. You made a terrible mistake, and you have to live with that. I don't know why I'm writing this. Maybe because seeing you here, following whatever strange job you have that brings you to this cemetery at night, made me realize that we're all just trying to survive our pain. You in your way, me in mine. Sarah believed in forgiveness, She believed in second chances. I'm not there yet, but maybe someday I will be. Keep visiting her. Keep saying you're sorry. Keep carrying your guilt, but don't let it destroy you. That won't honor her memory. Diane Chen. I read the letter 3 times, tears blurring the words. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something. Acknowledgement. A thread of connection in the darkness. Come on, Marcus said gently. Let's head back. We returned to the guard shack at 2:45 a.m. I placed Margaret's journal carefully in the desk drawer and tucked Diane's letter into my wallet. One more night. Thursday. The night the debt came due. Thursday, I didn't even try to sleep Wednesday. Instead, I spent the day researching Hollowbrook Cemetery's history, digging through old newspaper archives and historical records. I needed to understand what we were walking into. What I found chilled me to the bone. In 1847, when the cemetery was founded, it was built on the site of an old debtor's prison. The prison had burned down in 1842, killing 7 inmates who were locked in their cells. They died owing debts they could never repay, money owed to cruel creditors who'd had them imprisoned. Every 7 years since the cemetery's founding, something terrible happened. 7 deaths, all on the same night, all connected to the cemetery somehow. Guards, groundskeepers, visitors, even people who just happened to be passing by. The pattern held for 183 years. 2024 was a 7-year cycle. 7 people had died that Thursday night. 2025 would be next. Tonight. And according to my calculations, we were coming up on the 26th cycle. 7 cycles of 7 years. A number of completion, of cosmic significance. I called Marcus and explained what I'd found. There was a long silence on the other end. So we're probably going to die tonight, he finally said. Not if we follow the rules. Not if we're careful. Nathan, man, I appreciate the optimism, but we can do this. We have to. Another silence then. Okay, I'll see you at 9:30. We should get there early for this one. Vincent was waiting at the guard shack when we arrived. I'd never seen him look so grave. You boys know what night it is, he said. It wasn't a question. The 7-year cycle, I confirmed. 7 deaths. I was here in 2017, lost 2 good men that night. I couldn't save them. His voice cracked slightly. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Policy is that veterans sit out the cycle nights. Too dangerous. But I couldn't let you 2 face this alone, not after training you. Thank you, Marcus said quietly. Vincent pulled out the Thursday rules. The sheet was longer than any of the others, covered in dense text. Thursday rules. 7-year cycle. Rule 1. 3 watchmen must patrol tonight. Do not split up under any circumstances. Rule 2. Begin patrol at 10 p.m. You'll find 7 black candles placed throughout the cemetery. Light each one as you find it. They mark the graves of the 7 prisoners who died in 1842. Honoring them may reduce the dead. Rule 3. At 10:47 p.m., the ghost of prison warden Cornelius Black will appear. He will demand that 7 souls be offered in payment for the prisoners' deaths. You must refuse him 7 times. Count carefully. On the 7th refusal, he will vanish. Rule 4. All previously encountered entities may appear tonight, regardless of which night they normally manifest. Follow the appropriate protocols for each. Rule 5. At midnight, the procession will be different. 7 of the mourners will break away and approach you. They will offer you a choice. Come with them peacefully, or they will take you by force. You must present them with Margaret Morton's journal. They will read it and depart. Rule 6. Between 12:30 a.m. and 1 a.m. you will be hunted. The thing that hunts you is neither living nor dead. It was the prison guard who locked the 7 men in their cells and left them to burn. It has been bound here ever since, and tonight it is free to seek revenge on the living. You must survive for 30 minutes. Do not let it touch you. Rule 7. At 1 a.m., return to the mausoleum. The door will be open. 7 spirits will emerge. You must help them find peace by speaking their names: Thomas Fletcher, William Brennan, Robert Hayes, James Murphy, Charles O'Brien, Patrick Sullivan, and Michael Kennedy. Once all 7 names are spoken, they will be free. Rule 8. After the spirits are freed, the cemetery will attempt to claim 7 lives to maintain the balance. You must offer something else instead. 7 truths, 7 confessions, 7 moments of absolute honesty about your deepest guilt. The cemetery feeds on pain and regret. Give it enough, and it may accept that in place of lives. Rule 9. If you survive until sunrise, leave immediately. Do not return for 7 days. The cemetery will be unstable and dangerous. We stared at the rules in silence. This was beyond anything we'd faced so far. This was ritualized, cosmic horror on a scale I couldn't fully comprehend. The 7 truths, I said. What does that mean exactly? You confess your worst moments, Vincent said quietly. The things you're most ashamed of, most guilty about. The cemetery will judge if your pain is sufficient payment. And if it's not, he trailed off. Then it takes 7 lives anyway, Marcus finished. Yes. I thought about Sarah Chen, about the accident, about 6 months of guilt and sleepless nights. I had truth to offer. I had pain in abundance. We can do this, I said. We have to. At 10 p.m. we began. The first candle was at the entrance, sitting on top of a flat grave marker. I lit it with trembling hands, the flame guttering in the breeze before steadying. The second and third candles were in the old section. The fourth was by the fountain, the fifth near the chapel, the sixth by the north gate. The seventh candle was at Sarah Chen's grave. Of course it was. I knelt and lit it, watching the flame catch and grow. I witness your passing, I whispered. Though it wasn't part of the rules, I honor your memory. At 10:47 p.m. exactly, Cornelius Black appeared. He materialized in front of us like smoke given form. A tall man in a black suit with a cruel face and eyes like chips of ice. He carried a ledger book under one arm. 7 souls, he intoned, his voice echoing strangely. The debt must be paid. 7 souls for 7 deaths. It has been decreed. No, Vincent said firmly. We refuse. Black smiled, cold and terrible. 7 souls, he repeated. Will you offer yourselves, or shall I take others? The choice is yours. No, I said, we refuse. 7 souls. The debt is ancient. The debt is binding. No, Marcus said. We refuse. Black's smile widened. 7 souls. I can feel your guilt, Nathan Cross. I can taste it. Wouldn't it be easier to simply give in, to let it end? No, we refuse. My 4th refusal by my count. 7 souls. The prison burned and they screamed. Can you hear them screaming even now? And I could. Distant, horrible screaming. The sound of men burning alive. No, we refuse. Vincent's 2nd refusal, my 5th. 7 souls. There are 7 of you in a way, aren't there? You 2 and Vincent and the 4 entities you carry with you. The guilt, the grief, the rage, the love. All of you could be payment. No, we refuse. Marcus's 3rd, my 6th. Black leaned close, his breath cold on my face. 7 souls. Last chance, Nathan Cross. 7 souls to balance the scales, to end the cycle, to free yourself from guilt. I met his eyes. No, we refuse. 7 refusals. Black's form flickered, his expression twisting into rage. Then he simply vanished, like he'd never been there at all. Holy shit, Marcus breathed. We did it. That was just the first challenge, Vincent reminded us. Stay sharp. We encountered Annika, the little girl with the hatchet. We didn't speak to her, and she skipped away, laughing. We saw Samuel digging and kept our distance. The dogs appeared, and we recited the prayer. The woman in red asked about her daughter, and I gave her the correct response. Every entity we'd met throughout the week made an appearance, like they were all gathering for something big. At midnight, the procession came. It was massive tonight. Hundreds of mourners, maybe thousands, walking in perfect silence. Marcus, Vincent, and I stood together, eyes downcast, as they passed. Then 7 figures broke away from the group and approached us. They were wrong. Their faces were blurred, indistinct, like looking at them through frosted glass. They moved in unison, stopping a few feet away. The debt, they said in chorus, their voices overlapping and echoing. The debt must be paid. I pulled Margaret's journal from my jacket with shaking hands and held it out. This is a testament to love and memory, to lives lived and losses mourned. Please, take it and read. One of the figures took the journal. They opened it and began to read, all 7 of them, somehow reading at once. Time seemed to stretch as they read Margaret's words, her love letter to her dead husband, her plea for memory and meaning. When they finished, they closed the journal carefully and returned it to me. The debt is reduced, they said. Love is currency, memory is payment, but more is required. They rejoined the procession and disappeared into the darkness. What did they mean, more is required? Marcus asked. The hunt, Vincent said, checking his watch. 12:27, we have 3 minutes. Stay together, stay alert. At exactly 12:30 a.m., I heard something behind us. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate, getting closer. Run, Vincent said, stay on the paths. Don't let it corner you. We ran, the thing behind us. I couldn't bring myself to look at it, some instinct warning me that seeing it would break something in my mind. Chased with relentless patience. It didn't sprint or rush, it just walked, steady and unstoppable, always exactly the same distance behind us no matter how fast we moved. We ran through the cemetery following the winding paths, our flashlights bouncing wildly. My lungs burned, my legs screamed, but we kept moving. At one point, Marcus stumbled. The thing behind us surged forward, suddenly faster, reaching out with something that might have been a hand. Vincent and I grabbed Marcus and hauled him forward, and the thing fell back to its steady pursuit. 15 minutes. 20. 25. At 12:58 a.m., Vincent led us to the mausoleum. Inside, he shouted. It can't enter here. We dove through the mausoleum door just as my watch hit 1 a.m. Behind us, the thing stopped at the threshold. I finally looked back at it. I wish I hadn't. It was a man, or had been once. Now it was burned and blackened, its flesh hanging in strips, its eyes melted into empty sockets. It opened its mouth and screamed, rage and pain and centuries of hatred packed into one sound. Then it vanished. The 7 spirits, Vincent said, breathing hard. Look! 7 figures emerged from the deeper darkness of the mausoleum. Unlike every other entity we'd encountered, these ones felt peaceful. Sad, but peaceful. They were men in simple clothes from another century, thin and haggard with kind faces. I pulled out my phone and read the names from my research notes. Thomas Fletcher. One of the figures stepped forward and nodded. His form began to glow softly. William Brennan. Another stepped forward, glowing. Robert Hayes. James Murphy. Charles O'Brien. Patrick Sullivan. Michael Kennedy. All 7 were glowing now, bright as candles in the dark. They looked at us with expressions of profound gratitude, and then they simply ascended, rose up through the stone ceiling like smoke, fading into light and then into nothing. "The debt is almost paid," a voice said. We turned. Margaret stood in the mausoleum entrance, not Margaret the living woman, but her spirit, translucent and glowing faintly. "You kept my journal safe," she said, smiling. "You remembered James. You showed that love matters, that memory has power. But there is one debt remaining, 7 truths, 7 confessions. Will you pay?" I stepped forward. "I'll go first." Marcus and Vincent tried to object, but Margaret held up a hand. "Let him speak." I took a deep breath. 6 months ago, I killed a woman named Sarah Chen. I was driving distracted, and I ran a red light. She died instantly. She had a husband and a 6-year-old daughter. I took a mother away from her child, a wife from her husband. I destroyed a family because I couldn't wait 2 seconds to check my phone. That's my first truth. I'm a killer. The cemetery shuddered around us. The ground trembled slightly. Second truth. I took this job because I wanted to punish myself. I thought being surrounded by death would help me understand what I'd done. But really, I was hoping something here would kill me so I wouldn't have to live with the guilt anymore. Another shudder, stronger this time. Third truth. I'm terrified that I don't deserve forgiveness, that no amount of apology or guilt or punishment will ever make up for what I took from the world. I'm terrified that Sarah Chen's sister is right, that I'm not a monster, but that might actually be worse, because monsters can be fought and killed. I'm just a stupid, careless kid who destroyed everything with one moment of negligence. The cemetery was shaking constantly now, a low vibration that I felt in my bones. Fourth, truth. Every night this week, every entity I've encountered, every horror I've faced, I've been grateful for them. Grateful for the fear and the danger, because at least then I'm feeling something other than guilt. At least then I have a purpose beyond just existing and hurting. Fifth truth. I don't want to die. I thought I did, but I don't. I want to live, and I want to find a way to make my life mean something after what I've done. I want to honor Sarah Chen's memory by being better, by making sure her death wasn't completely meaningless. Sixth truth. I'm angry. At myself, yes, but also at the universe for putting me in that situation, at my phone for existing, at Sarah for being on that road at that moment. I know that's irrational and unfair and horrible, but it's how I feel. I'm angry at everything, and I hate myself for being angry. I was crying now, the words pouring out of me. Seventh truth. Despite everything, the guilt, the pain, the horror, I'm grateful to be here tonight. Grateful for Marcus and Vincent, for Margaret's journal, for the 7 spirits who found peace, for Diane's letter, for every small moment of grace I've found in this terrible place. I'm grateful to be alive, and I'm sorry that it took someone else's death for me to realize that life is precious. The shaking stopped. The cemetery went completely still. Margaret smiled, tears on her translucent cheeks. The debt is paid. 7 truths given freely with genuine pain and genuine hope. The balance is restored. She turned to Marcus and Vincent. You two have truths to give as well, yes? Not for the dead, but for yourselves. This is a rare moment when the veil is thin and honesty heals. Marcus spoke next, his voice quiet. I came here thinking I was fearless, thinking this job would be an adventure, a story to tell. But I've been terrified every single night. I'm not brave. I'm just stubborn and too proud to quit. That's my truth. Vincent was last. I never forgave the man who killed my daughter. He died 3 years ago in another accident, and when I heard, I was glad. I celebrated. I'm supposed to be better than that, but I'm not. Hate doesn't die just because someone tells you to let it go. That's my truth. Margaret nodded. Thank you, all of you. The cemetery releases its claim. You are free. She faded away, her light diminishing until only darkness remained. We stood in the mausoleum, exhausted and shell-shocked, until Vincent checked his watch. 5:47 a.m. Sun's almost up. Let's get out of here. We walked back to the guard shack in silence and logged our completion of the shift. At 6:15 a.m., the first light of dawn crept over the horizon. 7 days, Vincent said. Don't come back for 7 days. After that, the cycle resets. And things will go back to normal. Well, normal for Hollowbrook. Normal? Marcus laughed weakly. Right. I looked out at the cemetery, at the graves and monuments and all the dead resting beneath the earth. The place that had terrified me, tested me, and somehow given me a path toward healing. Thank you, I said to Vincent, for being here tonight, for not letting us face it alone. That's what the living do, he replied. We face the darkness together and we survive. Now go home. Get some sleep. I'll see you both in a week. Epilogue. 1 month later. I still work at Hollowbrook Cemetery. Marcus does too. We've completed 4 full weeks now, and while every night brings new challenges, nothing has been as intense as that first week, that 7-year cycle. Vincent retired after Thursday. He said he'd paid his debts, made his peace, and it was time to rest. I visit him sometimes, bring him coffee, and we talk about normal things. He never mentions the cemetery, and I don't push. I visit Sarah Chen's grave every shift, whether the rules require it or not. I bring flowers sometimes, or I just sit and talk to her, tell her about my day. I'm seeing a therapist now, working through the guilt and the grief. It's slow, painful work, but it's work worth doing. Diane Chen reached out to me again. We've met for coffee twice. It's awkward and hard, but we're trying. She told me that Emily, Sarah's daughter, is doing better, that Sarah's husband is dating again, that life goes on, even when you think it can't. I'll never forgive myself completely for what I did. That's not how guilt works. But I'm learning to carry it differently, to let it shape me into someone better rather than destroy me. The cemetery taught me that. Marcus is planning to go back to college in the fall, study psychology. He says after facing literal demons and ghosts, helping people with their mental health seems manageable by comparison. I think he'll be great at it. As for me, I'm staying at Hollowbrook for now. The cemetery still has its rules, its cycles, its strange and terrible beauty. Someone needs to watch over it, to make sure the entities are respected and contained. I think about the 7 prisoners sometimes, about Thomas Fletcher and his 6 companions who burned in their cells, owing debts they couldn't pay. I think about how much we owe each other, the living and the dead, and how payment comes in so many forms. Memory, witness, truth, love. The debt comes due, yes, but it can be paid in ways that heal rather than harm. That's what I learned at Hollowbrook Cemetery during 1 week of following rules and facing horrors and finally confessing the truth to the darkness. The dead don't judge. They just are. And sometimes that's exactly what we need to find our way back to life. Here's the wrap for now until we meet again. If this tale kept you on edge, like and share it with a friend who dares to listen and subscribe for more eerie nights like this one. Thanks for unwinding with me. Sleep tight if you can.